Most people complain about their lives. They complain about money, their body, their past, their environment. Complaining feels productive, but it produces nothing. Everyone believes they could do something meaningful with their life, but wait for the perfect timing, the right amount of confidence. Meanwhile, they keep talking about the same problems. Complaining becomes a substitute for action. I used to be one of those people. It was easy to blame the world, easy to excuse myself, easy to say things would change one day, until I realized something uncomfortable. Everything wrong in my life was my responsibility, not my past, my environment, or other people. And once you realize that, something becomes clear. If life is your fault, then your life is also your responsibility to fix. That realization was heavy, but it was also freeing, because it means you can start building something different. Over the years, I had learned a lot of lessons. Most of them the hard way. I didn't have a mentor, no one coaching me, and no one showing me the right path. I had to figure it out alone. So I wrote this book, not to motivate people, or to give empty encouragement, but to challenge the ideas most people believe about discipline, change, and structure. Inside it are rules that rebuilt my life. 7 principles that forced me to stop making excuses and start taking responsibility for everything. My discipline, my direction, and the kind of man I was becoming. It's not a motivational book, it's a framework. A way of thinking that forces you to confront the habits and beliefs that quietly keep your life small. We are told that with enough motivation, the right timing, and the perfect conditions, we can become who we want to be. That isn't true. The truth is simpler. The only way to build the life you want is to start. So I did. I started writing. At first, it wasn't even a book. It was just a framework for myself, a set of rules that kept me moving forward. But over time, that framework turned into something bigger. The truth is that it didn't start as something polished or impressive. It started messy, imperfect. The first version of anything is always bad. Ideas are scattered. Sentences don't make sense. Entire sections get deleted. But progress only happens after you start. Complaining keeps everything theoretical. You can sit there imagining the perfect version of what you might create one day. The perfect book, the perfect business, the perfect version of yourself. But imagination never forces you to confront reality. Building something does. Because when you actually start, you're forced to see the truth. You see where your thinking is weak, where ideas don't hold up. There were many days writing this book where I didn't feel like writing. Days when words wouldn't come out right, when I doubted whether I should even be writing this book. So I would go back and edit, rewrite, delete entire pages, start sections again, over and over, until eventually something real started to form. And that's the part people often misunderstand. The real value is not the book. The real value is becoming the kind of person who builds things. Because once you become someone who creates instead of complains, everything changes. Anyone can complain, very few people create. And the difference between those two groups of people is much simpler than you may think. It's not intelligence, it's not talent, it's simply the decision to start. Instead of talking about what your life could be, you begin building something that moves closer to it.